if you remember, we mixed the dough, and we put in go back to video 1, so I don't have to recap all that. But do you remember that we put in the yeast and all that stuff, and we said we're gonna put in here, and I told you, take a look at this. Now I switched bowls because I needed the other bowl for the Caesar salad. I always forget that. I need another bowl. Christmas.
All
right, so this is what it looks like. It's been 2 hours.
I know. It's been a long time.
OMG. Do you remember what it looked like before?
It was teeny tiny.
Yeah, it was.
It was like a softball of
and now it's like
dough.
a really pathetic basketball. Maybe a volleyball. Now we could flatten it out and make a normal style pizza. In fact, they actually tell you to cut it in 2, and you can make 2 pizzas for them. But we need all that dough because we're going to make a really thick Detroit Greek style pizza. Why do I call it Detroit Greek style pizza? Because in Detroit, first of all, there's an area called Greektown. I worked in it. It's funny because I'm dark complected. When I worked there, everybody thought I was Greek, but I'm actually not Greek. And whatever people are, they think I am. So Chaldeans, which are another version of Arabic, they all think I'm Chaldean. The Greeks think I'm Greek. The Italians think I'm Italian. And none of those things. So what we're going to do is we're going to put this pizza together. So what you need is an iron skillet. Now, let's say you don't have one, right? This is my favorite thing to cook in. I never wash it with soap. I only wash it with hot water and scour it. And it's got a legacy flavor in it. So this is years and years of cooking in this pan. So everything that comes out of it tastes like my cooking because it's a legacy of all the things I've cooked in it. So if you don't have that, maybe you can use a Pyrex, like a casserole dish maybe, or a pie tin or whatever. But I would say if you can afford it, go out and buy yourself an iron skillet. Learn how to love one and respect one. There's plenty of tutorials online. This thing's 25 pounds. It's a freaking cannonball.
And they're made by Lodge in Tennessee.
You know what? You know it's also made in Tennessee?
What's that?
My thermos.
I
have what is it?
That keeps coffee hot for 3 days.
For 3. What's the name of my thermos company?
I can't think of it, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing. All right. So anyway, Kroger makes a lot of great things. They do not make great spray. So sometimes you got to pay extra for the real thing. So
yes.
This is Pam.
And I second that. Spring for the name brand because Kroger brand spray is not good.
But we're going to use some Kroger brand other things, and we have it tonight. But some things work, some things don't. But the Pam spray works better than the Kroger. So
Lloyd wants to know if our Greek pizza is going to have feta, because he says feta is the best.
Yeah, but feta make you fatter. No, but you can do feta. And here's the thing, Lloyd. There are no rules to cooking. So we're going to make kind of a traditional pizza in the Greek style, but you can put whatever you want on it. So you can put bay leaves on it, you can put tomatoes on it, you can put if you want to put ham and pineapple on it, man, you just get down with your sick ass self, man. Do whatever.
I'm telling you, I love feta so much. If it were just me and nobody else on the planet and I were making the pizza, I would do one of 2 things. I would either do ham, pineapple, and feta, which is a great combination, or I would do feta and sun-dried tomatoes. That's my second favorite.
Oh, yeah. Well, maybe some spinach on that, too. But you see, the thing is about pizza is, what I'm saying is, recipes
make it your own.
Are only guidelines, man. This is not a religion, man. This is jazz. All right, so we're gonna form the dough. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of stretch it out a bit. I'm just turning it around in a circle. And I'm just kind of letting it stretch. All right, and it's getting bigger and bigger, and then I'm gonna start slap it a little bit back and forth like this. Let's see if I can do that. I used to be able to do that. And I'm just stretching it out. And remember, I use that bread dough. The gluten helps me do this. The bread flour has extra gluten, and so now that it's stretched out, I'm going to. You can make this with non-gluten, and it'll work. But if you are able to like eat gluten and not immediately die, like I'm lucky. I guess gluten doesn't really do anything to me, at least not that I know of. But bring that over here, baby. Let's show what we're doing. So basically, what I'm doing is I'm conforming this dough to make. Look at that. I mean, and look at these high walls. There's a reason for that, because we're gonna put a lot of stuff in here, right? I'm getting that.
And yes, Lloyd, feta and sun-dried tomatoes are the best. And you know what? I even sprinkle some Parmesan cheese on top of it because I love Parmesan cheese. Mm-hmm. So that is just my own personal opinion. It is one of my favorite things.
Pizza is like a canvas, and you can do whatever you want with it. You know, it's a vehicle in which, I mean, there's no limit. Whatever you think is cool, man, rock on with it. All right, so we started off. We did we put the dough in there. Now we're gonna make the rest of the pizza. We're gonna use a lot of sauce. We're gonna use this. We're gonna talk about that in a second. Let's see if I have a sauce open. And you can make your own sauce. I got a story about that too. My grandma. Okay, I never can see one that's open, and then after I open one, I see one.
Do you want me to look?
Pardon?
Do you want me to look?
Back in the 90s, when I was like really kind of getting into cooking myself, my grandma came over, rest her soul, and I was really excited because I went to the grocery store and I bought like all these tomatoes, and I stewed them all day long, and reduced them down to a sauce, and I made a sauce. It took me like two days to make the sauce, and probably cost me like $15 back in '95 or whatever to make this sauce. And so my grandmother, my mom, my sisters came over to my house. This is my house in Ferndale. This is like right outside of the city limit. And they were sitting down, we're eating, and I'm just so proud of my sauce. And I tell the whole story. Now my grandmother, who grew up in the Depression, said, I get done with the story, she goes, well, Cody, why didn't you just buy it in the can? Which is kind of funny, because if you think about it, like, well, she had a great point there. I mean, I was a purist, and what I'm saying is, you want to make your own sauce, and I used to make my own sauce, and you know, maybe someday when I can afford to, I will. But when you can buy decent sauce for like $1 from
and save yourself what, 4 hours or 2 days?
2 days. Well, I mean, because you want to because the tomatoes, if you put them in a skillet and you simmer them, they will turn into liquid over time. Like the skin, everything will turn into liquid. But you gotta like stew it all day long and then let it sit in a refrigerator. I mean, it takes like a couple days, and it'll still never be as good as what you can buy from them. It might be. So let's start with this. We're gonna start with some sauce. Now look at this. Am I using pizza sauce? No, man. This is just tomato sauce. Guess what? It's all the same stuff, man. It's just marketing. They're just trying to get your money. They put pizza on it. Oh, we got to get the one that says pizza on it because this is spaghetti. You can't do that. It's tomato sauce, man.
And for the record, I'm a big fan of Classico brand, but pick the one that you like the best.
I actually like, my favorite right now is the Publix brand, but there's not a Publix in East Nashville, and it's just too much of a pain to find one.
There will be soon.
There will be soon. So and Kroger for a while didn't have good tomato sauce. It was actually too thick, believe it or not, which seems kind of strange. But they redid their sauces, and now they're pretty good. And this is chunky green pepper and mushroom. I I buy different flavors and I have them all stacked up, and it was just the next one in line. So we put a layer of just a little bit of tomato sauce on the bottom level there, right? And we got the dough. And now, I already got it out. Sorry. All right. So first of all, I'm exhausted because I played all day. What's the matter?
Just not sure where I need to be.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're doing a great job. I've had a few drinks, but I'm also wiped out because I know it doesn't seem like a whole lot, but performing is hard. So I played today for 2 hours at the Shade Grove Orchard in Adams, and I highly recommend it. They're very sweet people. They had like a fall fest, and they had hundreds of people. I mean, they had like a big crowd today.
Was it open to the public?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because sometimes we do that gig, and it's just like they'll take
just the military folks.
They'll take 101st guys, which I was like. I was in the 101st.
I want to get up there one of those days when it's open to the public because it sounds like fun.
And then Friday and Thursday I did from 8:30 to 2 at Rock Castle, which is on
Old Hickory Lake.
Yeah, why did I say Lake Sinclair? Yes. And it's a historical home that goes back to the 1700s, and they had all sorts of reenactors there, and they brought in kids from all over Sumner County public schools.
It looks fun. I was looking at the site online with my mom today, and she and my dad might take a little day trip up there and do a tour of the house.
Yeah, I mean the one thing I really love, I love a lot of things about Tennessee. And I will say this, I am from Detroit, Michigan. That's where I get my accent from. And I would say I like being from Detroit more than I like living there. But that's not fair, because Detroit's a great place. I mean, and I'm talking about the city itself too. I'm not, there's a lot of people that say they're from Detroit, but they are actually from the suburbs. I'm from Detroit, and I went to Wayne State, which is right. I lived in the Cass Corridor. There's some great food, great jazz. It's a great place, but I love living in Tennessee. I mean, this is where I want to live. This is where my heart is. So what this is, look at my earlier videos, but we made this earlier. This is ricotta cheese. It's kind of like a Italian version of, it's kind of synonymous to like cottage cheese, right? Or
I don't know.
Bechamel is another one. I don't know.
Bechamel, you mean?
Bechamel, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know.
This is a ricotta cheese, and we added some garlic, a raw egg, black pepper. I think that would say. Maybe I put some salt in there.
Let's see. Lloyd says ragu is too watery. Mm-hmm. I've never had any experience with it.
Yeah, and it tastes like bile.
Okay. Ooh. Okay.
Yeah.
And then Anna Lovell says she is a fan of canned chunky tomato, I guess. Okay. And she's wondering what's going to go on top of the tomato sauce, which she just noticed. Ricotta, which is super exciting, and some other stuff too. Look at that! We got a second layer of tomato.
Second layer of tomato, because we got a lot. I mean, look how deep this is. We got to build
stay
this
tuned, up. Anna or Anna. Just wanna.
And by the way,
how you pronounce it, but yeah, we got 2 layers of tomato sauce. And
I really want to say this. First of all, I want to thank Vanessa for inviting me on here. First of all, I was excited just because I love cooking, and I love sharing my passion for it with people. And also, I'm an author. I write books, historical fiction about the Civil War, and so I mean, there's 1,000 people on this group, and hopefully we built some more. And she says, "Yeah, come on and talk about your book." So I'm very happy for the opportunity to also the music stopped. So now Vanessa's not going to like this because she says the lighting's bad in here, and she's right. So I'm going to turn on the lights. But we have to have music. You can come in here, honey. I'll play the lights. It will be great, but living, music, cooking, writing. It's all art, man. And if you don't live for beauty, then what are you living for, right? And beauty can be a simple little garden that you have in your windowsill of your apartment, you know? Anywhere you can express beauty and art and a passion for things that are nice, I'm totally behind. So what we're going to do is, here we go. Jerry Mulligan, he is a baritone sax player. This is kind of post bebop jazz. Another great baritone sax player, jazz, Art Pepper, who's from Detroit, where I'm from.
Ooh, Vanessa, that sounds great. You will have to send us the recipe.
Ooh, what is she talking about?
She makes her own, I guess, tomato sauce.
Excellent.
Just judging from what she said here. Or she also buys one from Aldi, which is organic marinara, which I love marinara, and organic is never a bad thing. And Aldi is a great place to shop. I don't get there very often because there's not one close to me.
We got one.
You have one.
Yeah.
I do not have one. But it is a great place. And then, let's see, Lloyd asks if you've ever seen the movie Kentucky Fried Movie.
Yes!
And he quotes, "Take him to Detroit." I haven't seen it, even though I worked in a video store in college. I remember the cover box back in the days of VHS tapes.
Lloyd,
I'm dating myself.
Now, because you suggested it, I'm going to make her, yes.
Oh, really? You're going to make me watch it?
Oh, come on.
Is that where we're going? All right.
We're gonna let Lloyd
Thanks,
down?
Lloyd.
That's let Lloyd down?
Great. Thanks.
Okay, let me tell you about people from Detroit.
Okay.
Okay.
Tell me about people from
We're
Detroit.
culturally different from you from Tennessee.
Really?
Neither are better or good or whatever or bad. We're just different, right? And the one thing about Detroiters are very proud, man. We're very proud of our city. And I would say Detroiters too. Like being proud from being from Michigan is a different thing, and I'm proud about being from Michigan too. But I'm from Detroit, so. I mean, I was like born in the city. The house that we lived on Coyle Street, over on the west side, burned down to the ground.
I remember going to look at that, or look for that house.
It doesn't exist anymore. But Detroiters have kind of like a negative pride in their city. We like to make fun of our own city. You know, Detroit's got a reputation of being, you know, it's got a reputation, and everybody knows the reputation. And we like to play upon that, you know. I mean, part of it is we think we have some kind of street cred because we're from Detroit. All right, so anyway, this is just a cheese, Italian style blend. It's got mozzarella, smoked provolone, Romano, Parmesan, Asiago, and Fontina. Now, Fontina was I get Fontanella and Fontina mixed up. But
Fontanella is a place here in...
It's also a cheese.
Fontanella is? Mm-hmm. I know Fontina is.
Fontina and Fontanella. And I can't... Okay. And I think they're the same cheese, but one of them is the dried version, the smoked, and one of them is the fresh version. Because fresh cheese is, you know, moist and dry cheese. And that's like the difference between like mozzarella and you know, like you say, you know what? Screw it. It's Saturday night. I'm gonna use this whole bag. Look at that. Oh my god, too much cheese. Look at that. But that's just once again Kroger. Now we dished on Kroger's spray oil,
which is they deserve it.
No good. But their cheese is good and their sauces are good, so, you know.
Most everything I get at Kroger is A-okay, but once in a blue moon I discover a stinker, and that canola oil or olive oil, I don't even remember what kind it is. Whatever that spray is.
It doesn't spray right.
It doesn't even, the bottle doesn't even spray very well. It like gets clogged up or something, and all my stuff, you know, stuck. So
well, what I was trying to say is that we from Detroit like to make fun of our own city, and we feel like we have a right to. And so as a Detroiter, I mean, watching Kentucky Fried Movie where they like take him to Detroit, was hysterical to me because, and I'm like, that has to be only someone from Detroit would have written that. And if you're unfamiliar with the movie, they do it's a spoof movie like Airplane, and they do a spoof of Enter the Dragon, and the guy who plays like the Bruce Lee character is hysterical. He's so funny. I don't know who he is, but it's a spoof of the last part of Kentucky Fried Movie is a spoof of Enter the Dragon, and you know these bad guys on an island and they're martial artists. But the ongoing joke is no place in the world is worse than Detroit, and so they're always like, take him to Detroit, and people are like, no. All right, so we're doing mushrooms. Let me tell you something, man. You know, there's a lot of marketing out there, and they want to tell you some things that are not true, man. They want to tell you some things that are not true, and they want you to believe some stuff that's not right. Okay? I'll tell you one thing right now. You can buy Baby Bellas, and that sounds pretty fancy, right?
They are good.
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying they're not. But regular white mushrooms are delicious. I like them better than Bellas. I'm not saying Bellas are bad. I'm just saying you don't have to buy the most expensive mushroom to have a good time. These are just the cheap
words to live by.
Words to live by, man. I'm telling you, like this is Engdahl philosophy right here. So we bought some just cheap white mushrooms, fresh. We're gonna chop these up so that they spread well. And we're gonna put some mushrooms up in this. Look at that. I mean, you know how deep that pan is.
It's like what, 2 inches?
I don't know.
At least a good 2 inches.
And so I'm putting on the mushrooms. These mushrooms are great.
They're actually good for you.
You know, so the old Germanic and Celtic, you know, Celtics are Germanics actually, because the Celtic people come out of what is now known as Austria.
Really?
Yeah, about 700 BC.
Okay.
And they started moving west, and they moved into like the British Isles. So like first of all, nobody in the UK actually belongs there. The UK is even more of a melting pot than the United States.
Okay.
Yeah, it's people conquering people. There are the Beaker people who are probably the earliest that we know of. And I don't even think those people built Stonehenge.
Okay.
But the Celtics came out of what is now known as Austria.
Which is beautiful, by the way, if you've never been to Austria.
I have never been, and I would really like to be there.
It is beautiful.
Where is it going with this?
I don't know.
And I'm just, sometimes I chop it, you know, I slice it kind of thin, but I'm just dicing it up so that, because we want to make room for other things here. Alright, so those are the mushrooms.
Anna/Anna is very excited about how cheesy our pizza is, which I am also very excited.
Anna, you think you're excited. We are very excited. Okay, did I already... Oh, you know what?
Sorry.
This is too fast.
Sorry.
Oh, I thought I did that.
No, anyway, I did it. I was tucking away the recycling.
So I still have some left, so what I'm going to do is probably saute them in butter and then make an omelet with those guys. All right, so what else can we put on there? We like black olives, right?
Yes, we do.
Okay, you don't have to do black olives. You know, it's. I never liked olives. No, not yet, because I want to cover it. I never liked olives when I was younger, and I was writing a book in the 90s, and the book was a religious satire called The Seven Churches of Asia. And if you know anything about the Christian belief, the seven churches of Asia are listed in the book of Revelations. And it was a modern book. It was kind of a satire about a guy, about a filmmaker trying to do a documentary about a crazy guy who wants to unite some churches of Asia to bring on the apocalypse, and so he breaks the guy out of an insane asylum, and they go to Turkey and get in trouble. Yeah, I'm doing it. And hijinks ensue, and I went to Turkey to do some research, and I went to all these the 7 cities that are listed in Revelations, and I went to Patmos and went to St. John's cave where he wrote the book of Revelations. I was in the actual cave in which they say he had his vision, and I was on a little island in Greece called Kos. And like I said, in Detroit, a lot of people thought I was Greek, or they thought I was Arabic, or they thought I was Chaldean because I'm dark complected. And I worked in a Greek restaurant, and so I was able to order Greek food in this on this little tiny island in the Adriatic Sea. And I'll tell you this is what was amazing to me. They didn't speak English, I didn't speak Greek, but I could say like Spanakotorotipakia and Teramusalata, and I knew the names because I was a waiter. And they brought me out all this Greek food, and it was exactly the same food that you get in Greektown in Detroit. Word up, man. I'm not lying. Now, where was I going with that? Spanakotorotipakia, spinach pots. Anyway, look at this pizza. Now, Laura doesn't. Laura's like that person that gets like a Big Mac and a large fries but a Diet Coke. So we're getting that look. She doesn't want pepperoni on her side of the pizza, so I'm putting pepperoni on one side because I like pepperoni. And yeah, it's probably a bunch of junk that is stuffed into a pig intestine here. It's a sausage, basically. It's very greasy, very oily, heavily caloric. So you can see right here, we got fresh mushrooms, we got black olives. Oh, the story I was trying to say is that I was at a Greek restaurant, or it might have been a Turkish one actually, and I didn't understand the language, so I just picked something on the menu, and they brought me out this plate, and yeah, on the plate was olives, black olives, and I never liked olives before, but I didn't have a lot of money, and I was determined, like, I'm gonna eat whatever they bring me, and I ate a black olive the first time since I was a kid, and realized, like, it was the most delicious thing ever. So I love black olives. So I try to put them on almost everything I cook. So here we go. So you watch this make this dough, and we pressed it into the iron skillet. There are fresh mushrooms in here. Actually, we'll go from the bottom. So we have dough, we have a layer of tomato sauce, and then we have a layer of the ricotta cheese, and then on top of that we put more sauce, more cheese, fresh mushrooms, brined black olives, fresh mushrooms, and pepperoni on my side. We're going to put this in the oven. The oven's set for 425, and we're going to let that cook for 25 minutes. And we're going to give Laura a break here because she's been holding the camera and she's hungry. And we'll be back in probably about a half hour. We're going to take the pizza out, let it cool for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then we're going to cut it and serve it up. And I'm telling you, if it's like the first time we made this, it's actually going to be better because I'm using better flour for it. So thanks for tuning in. Oh, and here's the commercial. So Vanessa said, yeah, I want you to come on my group and do some cooking, and you can promote your book. So here it is. My name is Cody C. Engdahl, and if you like what you see, friend me on Facebook. I don't have a separate, I do, but I've put it, it's, what do you call it? It's hibernating, or I don't have like a professional page. I'm just me on Facebook. Don't even
bring it up.
Okay. What I'm saying is, friend me, and I'm an author. I play the fiddle. I do a lot of cooking. This is my first novel here. It's Rampage on the River, and this is it's historical fiction, but all the history in it is real. So this follows the Michigan 2nd Cavalry, and all the history in this book is absolutely real. So the Battle of Fort Donelson, the Battle of New Madrid, the Battle of Island Number 10 is real, as well as all the historical people in there. In fact, I use actual quotes from history. There are people like Sherman in there, General Sherman, Nathan Bedford Forrest, General Pope on the federal side, and a lot of other people, and a lot of interesting stories that people don't really know about. In fact, you read this book, and at the end there's the author's note, and in it I tell you, okay, here are the things that are absolutely true about my book. Here are the things that are my own invention, and here are some things about the real people that were in this book and what later happened to them. So the idea behind this was, what's more important, or what's stronger, politics, geography, race, or friendship, love, and family? And so this is about real people who get caught up in the madness of the American Civil War and what happens. It's an action-adventure novel. I wrote it to be like a Netflix show. Like, this whole book here is like season 1 of my Netflix show, and each chapter is like a episode of it. It's action-packed. Right off the bat, there's sword fights, there's naval battles, there's love, intrigue, adventure. So anyway, I put the link to the book in the description of this video, so check it out, but you don't have to check it out or buy it to enjoy the video. I just want to teach you how to make some great pizza. So we're going to take a break. We'll be back in about a half hour.